Buckley's bookworms. Long time no see. My goodness, life has just been kind of crazy lately, hasn't it? I haven't been able to record, but now I can't take it any longer. We are starting a brand new book. But before we do, I'd like to send a shout out to my friends down in Midland, Texas at General Tommy Franks Elementary School. Hello, Miss Hamilton and all of my sixth grade friends down there. Like to send a salute to you guys down in the Lone Star State. And then I'd also like to say hello to my very special friends in Plentywood, Montana. Those friends are actually joining me in reading this book. Miss Marsh has got them all geared up and ready to go. I had the great pleasure of Zooming with them right before the holiday break, right before the winter break. So we are like best friends now, totally. All right, if you'd like to join me and my friends in Montana on this wonderful journey into a Pakistani village to meet our friend Amal, then you should run out to your library right away and check out Aisha Saeed's book, Amal, Unbound. Now, generally I say definitely read the blurb on the back, or read the dust cover, which is what we call this little part here, that's going to give us a synopsis or a summary of the book. But I am going to withhold that information from you because I want you to know that you are in for a bumpy ride. This story takes so many twists and turns. I don't want to give any of it away. One of the things that you will notice first in this book is how different life in this Pakistani village is to what yours probably is. As I read along, I want you to take note of some of those differences, and I'd like for you to discuss those differences with your teacher or the grown-ups in your life. There's lots to discuss here, and you may have some questions after reading some of these passages, or some of these chapters rather. Be sure that you reach out to an adult in your life or an older brother or sister to help you better understand some of these things that you might not have ever been exposed to. All right, that's good advice for anything, isn't it? Trust the helpers in your life. That's enough of that. Enough of that old advice. Are you ready to get started on Amal Unbound? I am too. Let us take a look now, if you will, at Chapter 1, Page 1. I watched from the window as the boys tumbled out of the brick schoolhouse across the field from us. Our class was running over. Again. Girls shifted in their seat and sneaked glances at the clock above the chalkboard. My friend Hafsa sighed. And finally, I have some bad news, Miss Sadia told us. She picked up a stack of papers from her desk. I finished grading your math tests. Only 5 of you passed. The class let out a collective groan. Now, she hushed us. This just means we have more work to do. We'll go over tomorrow and take another test next week. Those questions were hard, my younger sister Seema whispered to me. We lined up by the chalkboard at the front of the class to get our tests. Oh, I should have stayed with the younger class until fall. Oh, come on. You know you probably passed, I whispered back. When have you ever failed an exam? Seema tugged at her sleeves as she walked up to Miss Sadia. It was only in the arms that you could see my old uniform was too big on her. Miss Sadia handed Seema the paper. As expected, Seema's worried expression shifted to a smile. Her steps were lighter before she slipped out of the classroom. I'm sorry I can't help today, I told Miss Sadia once the room was empty. This was my favorite part of the day, when everyone left and it was just the two of us. The building felt like it had exhaled, expanding a little bit without all 34 of us, crammed 2 to a desk, filling up nearly every square inch of space. My mother's in bed again. Is the baby almost here? Yes, so my father said I have to come home and watch my sisters. Well, I'll miss your help, Amal, but he's right. Family comes first. I knew helping family was what a good eldest or oldest daughter did. But this time after school with Miss Sadia wasn't just fun, it was important. I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, and well, who better to learn from than the best teacher I ever had? I loved washing chalkboards, sweeping the floor, and hearing stories of her college days. I loved watching her go over her lessons and rework them based on what worked and what didn't the day before. I learned so much from watching her. How could my father not understand? I could still use your help with the poetry unit next week, she told me. Some of the students are grumbling about it. Think you could convince Hafsa to give it a chance? You know how she rallies the others to her side. She'll listen to you. Well, I don't think she minds reading the poems. Writing them is what makes her nervous. You'd think everyone would be happy to write poetry. Well, it's shorter than an essay. It's different. The great poets like Ghalib and Rumi and Iqbal, I think, they had things to say. And you don't have things to say? What would I write about? I laughed. My little sisters? My father's sugarcane fields and orange groves? I love reading poems, but there's nothing really for me to write about. Our life is boring. That's not true. Write about what you see. Write about your dreams. Pakistan was founded on the dreams of poets. Aren't we of the same earth? Miss Sadia's dramatic way of talking was one of the reasons I loved her, but I wasn't convinced. It's not that I wasn't proud of my family and our life. I was lucky to belong to one of the more prosperous or wealthy families in our Punjabi village, but it didn't change the fact that I lived in a village so tiny. It didn't even register as a dot on a map. But I promised I'd talk to Hafsa. This is what I now remember most about my last afternoon at school. The smell of the dusty chalkboard, the sound of the students lingering outside the door, and, mostly, how easily I took my ordinary life for granted. What the author has done with this very last paragraph has given us a bit of foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a glimpse into the future, a little clue as to what is going to happen. Now, we might not know the specifics of what's going to happen, but we do know that our friend Amal will not be returning to the girls' school that she is leaving this afternoon. Ooh, I wonder what awaits her. I wonder what awaits us. There's only one way to find out, and that's to hop on to this next chapter. All right, guys, wherever you are in this world listening, I hope you have enjoyed this first chapter. If I have mispronounced something, please forgive me. I am trying my best. I've made a good effort at it. If I have said something incorrectly or if I have mispronounced a word and you know better, be sure to tell me about it. I'm open to feedback. And as always, tune in to the next chapter and happy reading. Bye, everyone.